Mr. Cummings.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Senator Lieberman, Senator Collins, and Chairman Issa, and special thanks to Comptroller General Gene Dardaro for his oversight of the Federal Government and for the thousands of hours GAO put into this year's high-risk report. The good news in today's report is that both the 2010 census and the Personnel Security Clearance Program have come off the list. Both programs are within the jurisdiction of the House Oversight Committee, and I believe our diligent oversight of these programs helped make them both more successful. If I have a single message about today's report, it is this: the only way programs come off the list is because of sustained, dedicated, and bipartisan oversight over many years. It doesn't matter whether Republicans or Democrats are in charge. We all have to keep up this work on behalf of the American taxpayers. Many of the programs have been on the list, as Senator Collins said, for years, some for more than a decade. The risks associated with government contracting are of particular concern to me. In 2007, when I became the chairman of the Subcommittee on the Coast Guard and Maritime Transportation, I launched a series of hearings to examine multi-million-dollar contracting failures with the Coast Guard's Deepwater program, under which the service is expending billions of dollars to modernize its ships and aircraft. We found that the Coast Guard faced major challenges in effectively managing private contractors to ensure that they could produce boats that float, much less support all of the Coast Guard's many mission areas. As a result, I introduced legislation to make comprehensive reforms in the Coast Guard's acquisition program. This legislation became Title IV of the Coast Guard Authorization Act of 2010, which passed the House unanimously. And might I add, through our efforts, bipartisan efforts, we were able to save millions upon millions of dollars and continue to save millions upon millions of dollars with the Coast Guard. These are the kinds of bipartisan solutions that make a difference. But this year's high-risk list reminds us that much more needs to be done. And it also reminds us that we can do better, and we must do better. I agree, for example, that modernizing the financial regulatory system should remain on the high-risk list. 2 years ago, failures in the financial regulatory system led to the greatest recession our country has faced in over 60 years. We can do better. And I also support GAO's addition this year of the Department of Interior's management of federal oil and gas resources. As GAO reports today, the Department of Interior, and I quote, does not have reasonable assurance that it is collecting its share of revenue from oil and gas produced on federal lands, end of quote. Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. These are issues in our committee, and we will address them and review them, and I look forward to working with Chairman Issa to resolve these issues. But the one thing that we must keep in mind, and Chairman Issa and I agreed, that one of the things that our committee will be doing this year is we will be asking these various agencies, how long is it going to take you to straighten up and do and fly right? And then what we want them to tell us is when they'll be able to do it, and then we bring them back in to the committee and say, have you done it? Because other than that, we'll be year after year, as Senator Collins was saying, year after year doing the same thing. And then 10 years from now, a whole new Congress will be coming in and hearing the same complaints, only they would have gotten worse. And so I applaud the report. It is definitely a roadmap for us, and I want to thank the GAO for an outstanding job.